Coming up next on All About Android, it's me, Jason Howell. We've got Ron Richards and Florence Ion. We talk all about this OnePlus Oppo merger. What exactly does it mean? And Flo poses the question, what does it mean for Android enthusiast phones? Also, Android might be getting a Find My network. Looking forward to that. I review the Pixel Buds A-series earbuds. Pretty awesome stuff here. Do we want to chat with businesses? And a very, very special email block. All that and more coming up next on All About Android.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Hover. Whether you're a developer, photographer, or small business, Hover has something for you to expand your projects and get the visibility you want. Go to hover.com/twit to get 10% off your first purchase of any domain extension for the entire first year. Hello, welcome to All About Android, episode 530, recorded on Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021, your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm so proud of you, Jason. I'm Ron Richards.
Thanks.
And I'm Florence Ion. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Good to see y'all.
We've been hanging out already for like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
talking about
exhausted.
stuff.
The pre-show, listen, the pre-show was great. It's another reason to join Club Twit, so you get in on the great pre-show action that happens.
100%.
But I'm so glad to be here with the two of you because it has been a rocky week.
Woo.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
We were definitely talking a little bit about that in pre-show. What is the thing called? The
Mercury in retrograde.
Mercury in retrograde. And we're trying to figure out, okay, is that a thing? Because if it is a thing, there's certainly been many events that have happened in the course of the last couple of weeks, at least in my life, to prove it. And it sounds like in Ron's and Flo's and everything.
Yeah.
It's been a trip, that's for sure.
It's been a trip. So is that how you did the thing to your phone? Did you trip?
Oh, no. So should I be a black screen? There we are. There we go. So for our audio listeners, the camera just blacked out.
Sorry, it's just retrograde stuff.
It's just retrograde stuff. That's all. It's
Yes.
just retrograde. So I was getting out of the car the other day, and I was holding my phone and my work phone and some other stuff. And as I got out of the car, I felt something slipping, and I was like, "Oh, it's just my work phone." And I just let it go, like I didn't try to save it, and I was wrong, and it was my personal phone, and it landed on the driveway in the corner. And I don't know if you can see. You can see it's kind of
yeah.
So what's interesting here? So for video, those watching the video, I'm pointing in the upper corner. That's the impact, the point of impact.
Yeah.
And then you see it kind of shatter. You might remember a couple of weeks ago, I said how I cracked the screen, and there was like a horizontal line about a third of the way down on the screen. Well, the shattering effect went down until that crack and stopped.
Oh.
And that crack completely stopped the shattering. So only the top third of the phone is shattered. The rest of it is okay. But if that crack hadn't happened, I think this would have been a total loss. So I already was like, I need to get a new phone because of that initial crack. Yeah. So I just pulled the trigger and I got a replacement 4A. But this time I got the little blue color, which is hard. It looks like white on the camera. But
right.
I got
a very faint blue.
It's a very faint powder blue. And it's got a cool, nifty little orange button, which you can't see on the thing either because of the light. But of which my daughter saw it and said, "New phone." I said, "Yes, it's a new phone."
Yeah.
So so I thought about deviating from the Pixel 4a, but I was like, listen, I don't want to be spending $1,000. So $350 is the right price tag. Yeah. 4A has been great to me. Let me get a different color. It feels different. And this time around, I'm finally cutting the cord from the bottom home button, back button, square button row, and I'm gonna embrace the gestures. I'm gonna trust.
Nice.
I'm gonna trust Google, and I'm gonna go with the gestures. So that's the plan.
Sweet.
So,
well, yeah. I'm all about that. What do you think, Flo? Are you doing gestures? Or are you still on the buttons? Or
stop it. Just get out of my face.
What?
I don't want to gesture. Listen, I understand that gestures help people. I understand that some people prefer it, and I prefer just having the choice. Just give me the choice.
Yeah,
and we're fine.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I've been doing the gestures. We were chatting about this a little bit earlier today. I realize I'm at the point now where I've been doing the gestures for so long. Like it's weird when I pick up my wife's phone. She still has the buttons, the navigation buttons, and when I pick up her phone to do something, I always like go right into the gestures and realize, I have to go down there and push. Like old school push the buttons sort of thing. I'm totally used to the gestures. It's totally one of those things that you just kind of get used to over time. And, I think as with a lot of things with smartphones, constant exposure to a certain way, eventually you get comfortable with it,
So the thing that has challenged me thus far has been the swipe from left to right to go back instead of hitting the back arrow button that I used to.
Yeah.
And the challenge with that is that there are apps where there is something happens in that, like Instagram, you go to post the stories by swiping left to right. And half the time I go back to the home screen, I'm trying to figure out where the right place to swipe is and the right speed. And I'm sure, like to your point, it'll be muscle memory and I'll get it at some point. But, but yeah, so.
Yep.
But I'm not the only one who had some tragedy.
Yeah. So mine is kind of interesting. I went to my parents were in town last week. They were staying up in Healdsburg in their trailer. They do a lot of traveling during the summer in their trailer. And so they were up there. So I was going to meet up with them for lunch. And last Thursday was an insanely hot day in the Bay Area. And I'm talking like up at Healdsburg, it was like right around 110 degrees. And so super hot. The long story, which I'll try and condense, is I have a friend who has a Tesla. I think I've mentioned this before. He borrows our Sequoia to pull his trailer. And when he does that, he lets us have his Tesla Model X while he's gone. So I had the Model X. And so I drove it to wine country. I was like, oh, yay, I get to hit the road, listen to music on a nice sound system, whatever. Get up there and it's 110 degrees. Have lunch with my parents. I'm like, have you ever been in a Tesla before? They were like, no, we've never been in. We're very curious. So we go out to the car. The air conditioner suddenly doesn't work. And I'm starting to think like, maybe if we just drive around a little bit, sometimes when you drive around in cars, the air conditioner hasn't kicked in and then it finally channels through. Got on the freeway. Sure enough, it didn't. I mean, it was like 115 degrees in the cab of that vehicle for probably a good 15 minutes before we finally got back to where we started. The day later, I look at my Pixel 4 XL, and I don't know if you have the overhead shot. Okay, cool. I don't know if the TriCaster will behave enough for me to show you, but yeah, okay, it is.
Oh my gosh.
The day later, I pulled out my XL, and what clued me into it was the fact that when my fingers rested on the back of the phone, it felt hollow, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Normally, that's a really solid clunk. And sure enough, the back glass panel is totally separated from the phone. And I can't find my case. Like I usually have it in a case, but the case is getting dirty and I haven't cleaned it. So now I can't find the case right when I need the case because that would actually hold it together. So
I mean, yeah. I feel like you showed it on the camera, but for our audio listeners, I want them to truly understand what is happening here and try to envision it in your mind.
Yeah.
The back glass panel is almost as if you are peeling like a layer, it's literally like peeling a layer back from the phone. Like it is separated from his phone.
You can see all the way through to the other side.
You can see all the way through to the other side. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, depending on how I angle it, you can see all the internals of the phone. I mean, the back layer, basically the glue that surrounds the entire glass layer and adheres it to the phone melted or separated or something. And I can only imagine it was the extreme heat that did it. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know why it wouldn't be that. But it shouldn't do that, but it did. So anyways.
So did you talk to Leo? Because he had showed me that his phone had done the same thing. Like basically
really?
The back came off. Yeah.
The 4XL? Because I know that's what he was using for a while. No, I haven't talked to him about that, actually. I didn't realize that his phone had done that.
I think it's very interesting. It happened to the both of you. I recall the exact same sensation. Like, oh, my God, you can see completely through it. That is... I mean, that's exactly how they would take a heat gun and open the back up to fix it for you.
Exactly. That's how they would open it up and do repairs on the inside. So
that's crazy.
There's probably some easy way for me to glue it back together. What I tried to do was, I have that Pixel 5 because I just have a drawer full of random phones, right, for the show and everything that I've reviewed and whatever. I had the Pixel 5, so I was like, okay, fine. Maybe I'll use the Pixel 5. Oh, God, this sounds... I realize I live in a world of privilege, okay, based on my job. Anyways, I'll use the Pixel 5 until the 6 comes out, because I'm sure I'm going to get the Pixel 6 when it comes out. And so I had to factory reset the 5, do all of the security updates, of which it was one at a time, because I hadn't powered it on in 7 months or so, 6 months. And so that took all day. and then I opted into the Android 12 Beta 2 on that, got it all set up, and none of the apps work. And I know, and I had some people forward me a thing about WebView saying, oh, you need to reset this with WebView. That did nothing. So anytime I try and launch Twitter, anytime I try and launch the Google search widget just to do a quick search, it crashes. So I'm like, okay, well, then I guess I'm going to use the 4XL for a little while longer and just risk the back panel thingy. I don't know. So that's what I'm going to do.
Are you going to try and reach out for any warranty or fix situation?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know why, but I hadn't really thought of it. I just kind of assumed, since it's the 4XL, we're now 4XL 5. We're closing in on 2 years. Well, I guess it's about a year and a half. Is it a year and a half? Only a year and a half since the 4XL? It would be October.
Time was really slow last year. Time didn't matter last year. So.
Yeah. I guess it would be October 2019. So October 2021 would be the 2-year mark. Would that be covered under the warranty? I don't even know. I guess I could contact them and see. You better
go. You better do it now and then document it and tell us all about it. It's hashtag content.
Yeah, hey, there you go. That's right. We live for moments like this.
I mean,
we could write articles about it. We could release podcasts about it.
Write what you know.
Yeah, that's true. Write about your life. Okay, so I'll have to look into that. And there's also folks in the chat room who are posting little, oh, did you try this? Check this out stuff. So thank you for that. I will look into it when I'm not also doing a show with my friends. Okay. I am crossing my fingers, Burke, because the way the TriCaster has been the last hour, I'm not certain this is going to work, but it's time for the news.
Always promising fast, stable, and not buggy control surfaces. Here's Android news.
Don't promise that. You can't actually promise that.
Hey, Victor wrote it.
Okay. Well, okay, then we can blame Victor when it doesn't happen that way. All right, Flo, you got the top story. What you got?
This is indeed the top story because as things are really slow, well, it's the best time to come out and announce a renewed partnership. Oppo, OnePlus have officially announced that they are joining forces. It's no longer a will they, won't they kind of partnership. It's no longer a we know you guys are seated right next to each other and you talk to each other a little bit. It's officially OnePlus is a little sub-brand now of Oppo. And so you can think of OnePlus as that little arm that's just reaching out, little tendon,
little
just
arm
hanging
that's
there.
just hanging off the shoulder.
Just hanging. Yeah. So last week, Pete Lau, who is one of the original founders of OnePlus and actually came over from Oppo like years ago from an executive position, he announced that OnePlus and Oppo were merging together. This was in a nice little forum post in the OnePlus forums, so you can go read it if you're interested. The overall objective of this merger is to bring, quote, faster and more stable software updates to OnePlus devices. So that made a lot of folks really happy because I went through the Reddit threads of the last couple of years this afternoon, and a lot of you were very upset with the update timeline for your OnePlus phones. So
no kidding.
Now there's resources for a bigger team, so that's a good news. Android 11 was, of course, very delayed, and we're just around the corner from Android 12, so I'm sure many of you don't want to wait. Now, some questioned if OnePlus would stick with OxygenOS or if Oppo would kind of put its Color OS on there instead, which, as a side note, I don't think is as bad as people make it out to be, but that's for another day. Now, OxygenOS is going to stay on the OnePlus so far. Pete Lau actually said in that same thread that there was no plans to take it out of this market here in the US where it is right now. So that's good news. Now, little, context here. Remember last year, Carl Pei left, went to go start his startup. Nothing.
I was gonna say, Flo, do you think this is why Carl Pei left?
It's always the question, isn't it?
Yes. And listen, so I actually, I wrote about this today at gizmodo.com. I wrote a little ditty, which I want to, kind of point it to you guys as a question. But what I wanted to mention in my write-up, but I have no evidence for this, is that I do think this is part of the reason why Carl Pei left, because this whole move, this is just my own personal thing. Just anecdotally, I'm coming at this. There's no scientific backing for this, so please do not quote me. This is just a podcaster just kind of musing aloud, is that I feel one of the reasons maybe that contributed possibly to Carl Pei leaving, allegedly, possibly, maybe, is, OnePlus is clearly going for propagation here. We see that with all these new Nord devices that have been spawning around the world. There's global versions that kind of exist only in certain markets. And, when you're coming from a startup that was trying to position itself as the phone that you never settle for, could probably a change of ethos maybe is why Carl left to go do nothing.
Listen, I love the speculating of why Carl Pei left.
Complete
OnePlus.
Speculation.
I know.
Speculation.
I love it. I love it. He left. When did he leave? Like a year ago.
Yeah.
Ish,
right.
Yeah. Something like that,
ish. Yeah. There's no way. This is why. Like he left. Like this. Like I see this. I see this Oppo thing as maybe the net result of him leaving and the shakeup that kind of started.
8 months
ago.
That's good.
Yeah. But there's no reason. I can't imagine that him leaving and then a year later the reason why he. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't add up for me.
I mean,
This is why
it was 8 months
don't put
ago.
it in the article.
Yeah. 8 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I do want to poise, guys. My brain is a little off today. I do want to pose the question to you guys.
Pause it.
Thank you. Whatever. Do you guys think that this is the end of the Enthusiast phone? Because I feel like OnePlus existed in this nice little niche for the last couple of years where it sort of took over for the role of the Nexus devices. It kind of came through with the same kind of hype. And now it's clearly headed for a slightly different, more Samsung and even, dare I say, Motorola direction,
When you say that, are you saying that OnePlus was the Enthusiast phone and now it seems as if it's probably not going to be, will there be a replacement? Is that the question? Like a replacement? Or
is this
the end of OnePlus, their reign as the Enthusiast phone?
Yeah, that plus, do you think that it's just, all about selling? I mean, it's always about selling phones, but
sure.
Yeah.
I think that's
I'm
the case for
wondering
absolutely. Absolutely.
No, I think
just
it's
wonder
part
if we're still having this edge.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it's. I don't know. I think yes and no. I think the Enthusiast phone aspect, it might be a little overblown now as we're like so far along. Like early on, it was more niche and more that sort of stuff. But as they've grown, as they've expanded, maybe that's why Carl Pei left, because they're trying to go even bigger and become more like a Samsung. But with all like the idea of an Android Enthusiast phone, OnePlus wasn't the be all end all of that. I mean, I see Xiaomi with a lot of the R&D and a lot of the craziness and the stuff like that they're doing. I think they're continuing that. And there's no reason. What I find interesting, and Flo, and I defer to you because you've written about this, you know a lot more about this. Why is this bad? If Oppo has already, is Oppo some big bad that I don't know enough about that I should feel threatened by this? If anything, they were already in bed with Oppo from day one.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah.
So what's going to change?
That's been the long-standing question mark: is how deep does this go with Oppo? And I think that's maybe part of the reason for the reaction is now there's like this particular moment to point to say, see, I knew there was a thing with OnePlus and Oppo, and we've heard about it in little bits and pieces here and there, and now we're there. But you're right, Ron. Like, what does it actually mean? I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't actually know what it means for the brand, but I'm not certain it's going to change a whole lot because OnePlus will still exist as a OnePlus, even though they're more underneath Oppo. It's just more of a solidifying, as far as I can tell through what they've released here, it's just more of a solidifying of the teams at a time where a lot of companies have had to really refocus and understand how they do business in 2021 based on the way the last year especially, but the last couple of years have been. It's just kind of forced these companies to look at their business in different ways, and to a certain degree, this makes sense. It's a smart move if they combine and focus efforts. It's probably a really great thing for the company. I think it remains to be seen what it means for OnePlus. I'd be really surprised if OnePlus went away, but I think OnePlus as an enthusiast brand is that ship has sailed. I don't think that OnePlus really is as much of an enthusiast brand as it was, and that isn't a now thing. That's a last couple of years thing.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, if anything, I feel like this potentially protects OnePlus from the past year and the insanity by having a little more security with Oppo being firmly behind them. That's just, I don't know. I this doesn't feel like a Microsoft, we acquired them and now we're going to shut them down kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Although
this feels,
who the heck knows?
Well, I was going to say this feels a lot, and I had mentioned this in my article, this feels a lot like Oppo's attempt to kind of stay in the US and be that player, because as we see, the Biden administration is not backing down from the sort of bans that were put on some Chinese companies. So why come into a market that is kind of, not open?
Yeah, that's true. Although very tangentially related, there was the news that Honor had mentioned that they're going to be bringing Google Apps back to their phones with the new 50 series. So there is a little bit of a shift in what's going on with some of the Chinese phones and how they're able to interact with U.S. companies. At least there's that. Honor is in a position where they are bringing the Google experience back into their devices. So who knows? Maybe that's going to change with some of these other players as well. But that's kind of a side note. Cool. All right. Everybody should definitely go over to gizmodo.com and read Flo's article on that. In other Android news, Google is apparently working on its own Find My network. This is according to an APK teardown that the folks at XDA Developers and, of course, friend of the show, Michelle Rahman, looked at Google Play services, the new Google Play services, and found strings inside of there that refer to Find Device Network to, quote, find you and other people's devices, referring to Find My Device Network, essentially. So, I mean, the direct comparison, of course, Apple has one of these, and Google has something similar to this on Android. Y'all probably are familiar with an app called Find My Device. It's on the Play Store. You can get to it through a web browser as well. It can only find devices that are signed in to your Google account. So if I'm signed into my Google account, I can use this app and it'll show me all the phones that I've registered through my Google account and what their status is. If they're powered on, it'll tell me where it's located, blah, blah, blah. This would be different, though. This would be more of like a broader network in the way that I think Apple, to my understanding, has it. Perhaps it would support things like Tile, smart tag trackers, things like that. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Google's working in that direction, especially with the success that Apple has seen with its AirTags. So Find My
Which is
network.
Wild, by the way, that Apple's had so much success with their
Does that
AirTags.
surprise you? Like,
No,
are you surprised by
it's
that?
just
I'm not
annoying.
surprised by that at all. It's just annoying. Okay, all right, fair.
Yeah.
There were a lot of others that
What else can I
tried.
say?
And then Apple walks in the room, they're like, hold my beer. We're going to do this the right way.
And we sell a $30 leather casing for it, which just is the height of luxury.
For those of you who need a gold-plated tracker. No, I don't know that they have that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, so we might see something like that. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe could this be something that we see with the wider Android 12 rollout? I don't know. I didn't see anything referred to that in this article, but I'm just guessing.
Would it be a wider Android 12 rollout, or would it be whatever upcoming hardware refresh that we potentially could see the next time? Like, that seems like a very consumer-facing kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of consumer-facing, also, because the world is upside down and I don't know what month it is or what day it is or when things happen anymore, Samsung has announced its upcoming Mobile World Congress virtual event Monday, June 28th, starting at 10:15 a.m. Pacific. The event will be focused on the Galaxy ecosystem, but it's also its big new smartwatch experience, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. Samsung's collaboration with Google and Wear OS. This will be the first look at this new combined operating system that's going to revitalize the wearable market. This partnership, two titans coming together to wrap around your wrist. And there's some leaks that are revealing promotional images of the Galaxy Z Fold 3, which, a new year, a new Z Fold 3, a new Z Fold. That includes the in-display camera, but it's uncertain, undetermined if this will make an appearance at the event or not. Although you got to imagine that if they're doing a Galaxy event, they're going to show off the Galaxy phones. So I'm hopeful that we'll see the next Fold. We're due. I feel like the Fold 2 is about a year old, right? So they're pretty due for that. But yeah, so we'll see. So the next Samsung Unpacked coming up June 28th. Jason, are you excited? You can be covering it? Or?
Next Monday. Well, yeah, so we talked about that today in our editorial meeting. We decided we're not going to do live coverage, but I was chatting with Anthony, and we will do, I haven't tried this before, so I'm going to try it in the Discord. So this would be for Club Twit members. But for the Discord, I'm just going to open up like a voice thing while I'm watching it, a voice stage or whatever it's called, and just kind of, so I guess it's kind of coverage, but it's really just kind of like me watching the event, because I was going to watch it anyways, and I was thinking about like maybe releasing a tech break on it, but just watching it and opening up the stream while we do. So it's kind of like live coverage, but it's not like official live coverage. So I'm going to try my hand at that and see how that goes. But that's cool. Next Monday, 10:15 a.m. Pacific, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm really curious to see how much of a visual refresh this new effort is, what elements of Tizen OS that Samsung was using in its smartwatches, what elements of those kind of fuse over with Wear OS. I'm just really curious to know kind of the dance between those two forces and what they come up with as a result, and if there's any excitement behind it, like if there's any tangible excitement around the results of that effort. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
But
Flow will be your main bellwether for the excitement around that. So yeah.
Are you intrigued, Flo?
By the folding devices?
I don't know.
The wearables and the
Oh, yes. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be something like what we were teased at Google I/O. I feel like but I don't know. I don't know what happens behind the scenes. And I definitely don't know this last year because I haven't been out of the house. I haven't been able to, creep around any corners and listen to any secret, just kidding, / not. But in all sincerity, I don't know. I am going to wait for this event before buying because I was going to buy a new Samsung smartwatch. I actually, you know what? You guys smashed your phones this last weekend. I actually smashed my smartwatch against the granite, and it actually has this big crack in it now.
Oh no.
So there's clearly something going around.
So you did have a thing.
Wow.
I did have a thing.
It just wasn't a phone, it was a watch. That's one of my fears when I'm wearing a smartwatch, because when you're walking around, your arms swing. So, and I'm just a clumsy guy.
I'm just one of these lanky arm swingers. I don't know.
This is me walking down the street. I'm usually just like, hey, how's it going? It's good to see you. And I'm guaranteed to run into something.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to wait. So I'm going to wait to see if they announce hopefully a new like LTE watch. That's kind of what I want to go for next. But I don't think it's going to be the new situation with Wear. I feel like that's going to be its own event, its own heralding. You know, they're going to give us like classes and group, group meetings so we can get together and just really support each other through that transition. And I don't think we're ready for that yet. But I could be wrong.
Could be wrong. All right, let's take a break and thank the sponsor of this episode, and then we will get into, I'm going to do a little review of the Pixel Buds A series. I have thoughts. You're going to want to, hopefully you're going to want to hear them, and if you don't need to listen to them. It's totally up to you. But stick around right now because I want to thank Hover for their support of All About Android. It is time to make plans and let Hover help you achieve them. Maybe you've got big ideas, big goals. You're working on something. You need to get an awesome, an awesome domain. Well, that's what Hover's all about. If you're a blogger, maybe you're creating a profile, portfolio, building an online store, or you just want to make a memorable redirect to, like your LinkedIn page, something like that. Hover has the best domain names and email addresses just for you. Email at your domain name is key to connecting with customers and building trust for your brand. They have domain-based emails for all your needs, so small or large. It is super easy to set up. Everything with Hover is super easy to set up. You can add as many mailboxes to your domain as you need. When your domain renews, your mailboxes will renew as well. And the prices are awesome. Their most popular mailbox is a no-brainer solution for business owners. You can get access from anywhere. Use the email app you're already comfortable with. And if apps aren't your thing, their webmail can be accessed wherever you happen to be. I love, Hover makes the domain shopping experience so pleasurable. Like I've been on a lot of other sites where I've been, I've got this idea for a domain and I go on and search it. And I'm not sure what it is about Hover. It's it's such a clean approach. And when you plug in your idea, it takes you to a new page and you see it kind of working, and it's kind of like this magical reveal if the .com is available. It's like bing, it appears at the top. It might appear immediately, or you might have to wait for it, build a little anticipation. But it's basically going through all of the different options that you have on that domain, and there's just something really clean, really pure and nice about the way that Hover delivers this. It just makes it really easy and inviting to use. Hover also isn't here to upsell you on the stuff that you don't actually need. They just want to help. They have pro-level tools, they have powerful domain and email management tools, super intuitive, of course, easy to use, whether you're a web pro or if you're just getting started as well. They're private and secure, with WHOIS privacy protection included with your domain purchase. Your private information will remain, exactly that, private. It's a great way to reduce spam, protect yourself from unwanted solicitations. Hover Connect lets you pick the services that you want to use and then to, build and host your website. With Connect, you can actually get help with starting to use your domain name, and all it takes is just a couple of clicks to do that. At Hover, if you're a customer, you're not just a source of data for Hover. You're an actual customer. They're going to take care of you. So take back control of your data with reliable tracker-free email. Hover is trusted by hundreds of thousands of customers, myself included, who use their domain names and email to turn their ideas into reality. So whether you're a developer, maybe you're a photographer, small business, Hover has something for you to expand your projects and get the visibility that you want. Go to hover.com/twit. and you'll get 10% off your first purchase of any domain extension for the entire first year. That's hover.com/twit for 10% off your domain extension for the full year. And we thank Hover for their support of All About Android. All right, now it is time for just a little bit of hardware. Not a lot, just a little.
Tiny bit.
Tiny bit of hardware. All right. Last week, I mentioned the Pixel A series, the Pixel Buds A series on the show. And I mentioned that I was going to find a place to do the review. And then I was like, you know what? It just makes sense. I need to do the review on All About Android because I like them a lot. So there's a little bit of a spoiler.
Okay.
But here's kind of my thesis with the Pixel Buds A series. The A series. What do we know about the A series with Pixel phones? We know that Google, the last couple of years, has released their 3A and their 4A. Both times, those phones have done really well, done a really great job at taking the things, kind of like the core components, the elements of the Pixel phones that make them special, and then bringing them to a device that's way more affordable, but that delivers on the promise of like just like the magic of the Pixel, but just half the cost, let's say, as far as the phones are concerned. And so it makes sense that Google, if they're naming these Pixel Buds A series, that they'd be attempting to do the same thing with their earbuds. And so, you know, in my experience, I've used the 2020 version of the Pixel Buds a lot in the past year. I wouldn't say that they were at the top of my list. The Jabra Elite 85Ts, those are kind of my everyday go-to in-ear true wireless buds. The Pixel Buds, though, I would say were second. The problem was that the Pixel Buds, the last year's version, had some issues, right? They primarily, I would say the biggest issues were connectivity. A lot of people really complained, and myself included, I experienced this, where there would be dropouts, there would be, it would suddenly just stop being connected. It's almost like it felt like sometimes my head was in the way of the signal or something, and it was just really, it could be very annoying when you're listening to something and then you're getting those cutouts. And like, yes, true wireless earbuds do suffer from that from time to time because of Bluetooth technology and whatever. But for whatever reason, the Pixel Buds were particularly prone to it. And Google rolled out a series of firmware updates to try and address this over the last year. And, in some ways they were able to alleviate the problem somewhat, but they were never able to get rid of it entirely. Enter the Pixel Buds A series. And so, what you see right off the bat, so I think, there we go. That's okay. We've been having TriCaster issues today, so here we go. What you can see right off the bat is that there's a lot similar between the two. From the hardware perspective, the cases look almost identical. They are not identical. They both have the USB-C charging port on the bottom. They look very similar, except that the Pixel Buds A series is not wireless charging. Now, if you are a diehard wireless charging fanatic, that's going to bum you out. It really doesn't bum me out at all. I hardly use wireless charging as much as I've tried to get in the habit of it. I just plug my stuff in. And it's also a testament to the charge, that the case holds. 19 hours, which is reasonable, I would say. 19 hours of extra charge on the case. It was fine for me. I had no issues with keeping the case charged up. So very similar design by look. Wireless charging is an omission that is going to bum some people out, though. It also has a single LED on the front. It doesn't have the LED that connects into the earbuds, as you see right there on last year's model. Not a big deal. Totally not an end of end of the world sort of feature omission. The earbuds themselves. All right, so let me take these out, and you'll see. When I put them side by side, they are close. Like, they are very, very similar. What really stands out to me, just a couple of differences. On the Pixel Buds A series, it's more of a plastic design. You can see it's really kind of shiny compared to last year's Pixel Buds, which has more of a metal kind of body down here. So, okay, well, what does that also mean? In some ways, that could mean that they're more durable. Sometimes plastic is more durable than metal when it hits certain surfaces, as we've talked about earlier on this show. It also means that it's a little bit lighter. So, and actually the overall design of this year's model is, I would say, a tiny bit smaller. It looks really close on this camera, but in my hand, it's a little bit more slender around the area that starts to go into the ear. You can also see, I don't know if you can see that, there's more of like a metal grate on the inside of last year's model. This year's model, it's more of like a plastic tubing. But again, that's on the inside. That's like that, you never have to interact with that because you've got the ear tip on. So it really doesn't matter very much. Outside of that, it's got 2 pogo pins instead of 3 for charging. You'll never notice. It goes in the case, it charges just the same. It has 1 sensor versus 2 sensors on last year's model. You'll never notice because it still does a great job of detecting when it's in your ear, and when you pull it out of your ear, it still pauses and everything. So all said and done, yes, there are design changes, but they're design changes that are the right changes, right? Like if that's what they can bring the price down, you're not missing out on any major features as a result of that. So that's pretty awesome. Other things that I've noticed, this year's model does not have swipe for volume. It does have a touch pad, like this whole surface of the earbuds are touch sensitive, so I can tap, to play, pause, answer a call, that sort of stuff. I could tap and hold to summon assistant, but no swipe volume changes. Honestly, didn't bug me at all because my absolute favorite feature of the Pixel Buds is here, and that's the hands-free voice assistant. And I can make the exact volume change that I want with my voice. So I can say, hey, G, turn the volume up 30%, and boom, it does it. And I don't have to touch anything, So if I'm out for a run, I can just do that on the go. Great, it works. No attention alerts, which was an experimental feature anyways on last year's model, but this was a feature that when you turned it on, it would detect when like a dog's barking, and would go, oh, that's a dog barking, and it would lower the volume for you. Again, it's an experimental feature. I didn't really rely on that much on last year's model anyways, so totally didn't miss it. And that's mostly about it. All in all, they still have an excellent sound. I actually really do like the sound of last year's model, and the sound quality of this year's model is basically identical. I mean, it's basically the same technology as far as that's concerned. Both are IPX4 water resistant. That's the same as the AirPods Pro, by the way. Excellent integration with Android. So if you got a Pixel phone, you're going to get that fast pair. You're going to get that EQ. It's like integrated into settings. It's really nice how it ties into the phone. Same as last year's. Great call quality. Had no issues with calls. Again, same experience as last year's. Battery life is a little meh, I'd say, compared to others that I've tried. 4 to 5 hours on the earbuds, and I probably had to charge them a little bit more frequently than some of the other in-ear buds. I've been painting my daughter's room over the weekend and using these a lot, and I noticed that a little bit. But I could use either of the earbuds in my ear. They aren't one earbud doesn't connect to the other one, and then that other one to the phone. They both connect independently to the phone. So that's a really good feature. And then I would say the biggie is, Bluetooth 5.0, but this time there's a new chipset in the earbuds on the Pixel Buds A series. And this new chipset, Google says, is there to improve on that wireless connectivity issue that last year's model saw. And I can tell you, in my time with this, I didn't have any dropouts. I didn't experience any of that. I don't know if it's going to happen down the line, but it definitely hasn't happened while I've been testing these over the past week and a half. So that's great news for anyone who's pointing to that and saying, hey, you burned me once, Google, don't burn me again. The value is extremely high here. I think for $99, it's kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, I don't know why you would buy last year's model. This year's model, yes, has a couple of trade-offs, but they're totally worth the $80 of savings. $99 is actually a really great price for what you get out of the Pixel Buds A series. And by the way, I just saw today that the Pixel Buds 2020 edition, they're out of stock on the Google store. I think Google might actually be in the process of phasing these out and just saying, hey, these don't exist anymore. Going forward, it's the Pixel Buds A series. I don't have confirmation that that's what they're saying, but that's what I'm led to believe because they're out of stock in a few different places. And if that's the case, I think it's a good move. I think Google made the right decision. They made the right trade-offs for the Pixel Buds A series. So that's my take. I think it's a pretty darn good value for $99. I like them a lot. All right, I will open it for questions.
I will say it's tempting. You make a good case for it. And if I was not anti things inside my ear, I probably would be right there behind you. I was, I was actually looking at them and I'm like, man, these look really interesting. I just can't jam them in my ear.
Yeah. So. Understand. It's you got to be okay with, with that particular type of fit. It is the kind of fit that, kind of seeps into your ear canal. You know what I mean? It doesn't rest on the edge of your ear. It goes inside. You get a little bit of that plugging sensation.
That's what kills me. That's what kills me.
Although, as far as earbuds that do that are concerned, these are actually a little better because they do have the spatial vent, and that vent is there to reduce that effect. And so I don't feel that nearly as much with these as I do with, let's say, the Jabra Elite 85Ts. What I like about that plugging, though, is that it gets a nice seal. So when I want really nice deep bass or some of those low frequencies or whatever, or I just want to seal off the outside world, sometimes that sealing effect is good for that. So it's kind of a trade-off, I think, with a Pixel Buds A series. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Flo, what do you think? Are you on board?
I mean, now I know at least how to tell people to spend $100 and get a reasonable, pair of earbuds, because whatever you get for under that is dubious.
Yeah,
and
can be.
Sometimes paying over that is just too much for some people.
Totally.
So $100, I feel, is it's a pretty approachable spot for a lot of people.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I wonder if there's going to be, any sales on that going down to like $79.
Oh,
$99
yeah,
at some
definitely.
Point. And if that's the
down
case,
to $70
then heck
bucks.
Yeah, jump on it. But I think even for $99, this is good. I think the comparison to the Pixel phones A series is completely apt. Like, it really is like that model, but applied to their earbuds, and they did a great job. Yet again, Google has proven that I don't know what it is about Google's decision making as far as its A series is concerned, but they do a good job at taking the essence of the more expensive thing and bringing it to the less expensive thing and calling it an A series thing. If that makes sense.
That was great. So many things.
So many things.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, speaking of things, I'm very excited because Motorola is actually reviving their rugged smartphone that first came out a decade ago. Everyone that's been listening to this show this year, rugged phones has been one of our themes. And this is so exciting. Motorola is playing right into our hands with the Motorola Defy 2021. It's got an IP68 rating, which gives you 35 minutes underwater up to 1.5 meters, which is crazy. It's drop proof up to 1.82 meters. It's a 6.5-inch HD Plus display with Gorilla Glass Victus, a 5,000 milliamp battery, and it can withstand temperatures from 30 to 70 degrees Celsius. So do that math, everyone. Negative 30 to 70 degrees Celsius. That is a wide range of temperature. And the phones have 3 round corners and 1 square corner, which I just love from a design element aspect. I wish more phones did stuff like this. That's fantastic. It's got no 5G support. It comes with Android 10. It's upgradable to Android 11. No word on Android 12 yet because we're in that weird in-between period. I don't blame them for that. This is on sale to the European and Latin American markets for roughly 329 euros. Unknown if it's coming to the US or not. This is so exciting. And then I want to do a write-in because I wanted to also mention and give a shout out to Steve on Twitter, who pointed this out to us, that T-Mobile rolled out a line of rugged devices, including the Cat S62. And so now if you're a T-Mobile customer, you can get the new Cat S62 phone for your rugged phone needs. So 2021 might be the year of the rugged phone, my friends. I don't know.
Everybody's going to have a rugged phone.
Everybody's going rugged.
Yeah. It makes sense with the Earth heating up the way it is. We need phones that can withstand the heat.
I mean, yeah, but yikes. Lighten up, kids.
7 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit is temperature of 158 degrees Fahrenheit. That phone can resist. I will say
that would have come in handy with Jason
this
last weekend in the 110-degree heat.
Yeah. Trapped in the 115-degree cabin of a Tesla.
Yep.
That phone would have survived.
It would have.
So why wasn't the air conditioning working?
I don't know. That's the weird part of the story. The air conditioning wasn't working at all, and then I drove home from Healdsburg to home, and it didn't work. Got home. messaged my friend to say, hey, by the way, this happened. I think I might need to take your car in because, the heat wave is still here and we can't drive around in it like that. And he was like, oh, that's really bizarre. Did you do this? Did you do this? I'm like, I did all those things. My wife walks out there and comes back 5 minutes later and she's like, it works now. And it's worked ever since. So in the moment that I needed it most, it failed me. And then now it's just working again. Yeah.
Unfortunate. This is the reason. This is why everyone needs to go rugged. Listen, the day, and I'm waiting in the wings. The day I get a rugged foldable phone or rollable phone, then I'm just going to be in Android heaven. So,
rugged rollable.
Rugged rollable. Give me that.
I think one of the things I like about the Motorola Defy is the square corner. It has
the square corner is fantastic.
It has a little hook for I don't know, is it like a dangling wristband or something?
Or like a carabiner?
A carabiner so you can fasten it to yourself. Like you're rock climbing with your rugged phone and I dropped it. Oh no, I didn't. It's attached to me.
I love the rugged phone so much. Yeah. Oh God.
You gotta deliver on that someday. You gotta get yourself a rugged phone.
I really do.
Again, both of you would have really had a better weekend. You had a better rugged phone.
Yeah.
I will give Jason credit that when I told you both that I shattered my phone, Jason did say, not for nothing, and sent me a picture of a case. And I will admit I am living dangerously without a case and will continue to, because I just got this nice new powder blue phone. I don't want to cover it up.
I know. I feel it. I feel that pain. I get it, but sometimes that case, it's there for a reason.
Sometimes you gotta button up.
Yeah, you just gotta suck it up. Put a case on that phone. All right, up next, some app news. All right, Flo, you got it.
Oh, I can't just sit here and move my head back and forth. Well, okay, fine. Instead, we're going to talk about something that excites me, a person who was not very enthused with the latest Android 12 beta. So, Google Assistant's at a glance widget, it's going to be getting an update in Android 12, which I would expect it to.
Yeah.
9 to 5 Google did an APK teardown of the Pixel launcher, and they found a new feature coming that is called Live Space. Now, this will allow for deeper customization of the at-a-glance widget. I'm hoping this means some of the things that I saw in those press renders. All the details of the current at-a-glance widget, like weather, upcoming calendar events, commute time and leave reminders, severe weather alerts. These are all things you'll be able to add into this little customizable area. You'll also be able to enable a feature that basically it's a location controlled feature that will prop up shopping lists, Google Pay, rewards cards, anything that might be related to where you are at in a certain point of time. And in the future, this live space will also have live updates for sports scores, stock price changes, your sleep summary, now playing integration, and possibly maybe a shortcut to driving mode. The final UI is expected to be part of Material U. So these are all things that you can look forward to not being able to play with yet.
Makes sense. Makes sense that we get an update and have some controls over what you see up there. I feel like I'm kind of surprised we haven't had that before.
I know we had that. Remember when it was called the Google Now panel? That we were calling it for so long.
Yeah, I guess
we were
Google
able to
Now
do all that.
before Google Assistant and everything else, and there's all of those like hidden areas that you can get into Assistant now that have some of these features in them, but you never go there because it takes like 3 or 4 things just to get there. Whereas Google Now used to just give you everything with no muss, no fuss. So I think it actually makes a lot of sense to be bringing more of that into that at-a-glance widget, because that gets us back to the no muss, no fuss, which is really helpful. It's helpful to look up there and go, oh, that meeting is in 25 minutes. Okay. Whew. I would have not known that meeting or that podcast is in 3 minutes, as the screenshot shows.
No muss, no fuss.
No muss, no fuss. That's like a salesy term, isn't it? I've learned too much from my days watching.
I think
TV.
it's about super glue.
Is it?
I don't know.
Sounds like it could be. In other app news, there wasn't a whole lot in app news this week, so apologies. But if you like chatting with businesses, then you'll want to hear this.
Because, everybody does.
Everybody loves chatting with businesses. Apparently, the Google Phone app beta is out now. I don't know that I'm on the beta track for the Google Phone app, apparently, because I haven't seen this yet. And it's placing a chat button in the dialer interface when you are communicating or about to communicate with a verified business. I'm not sure what it takes to be a verified business. That must be a Google process in the background. But, if I do a search for Sam's Pet Shop and Sam's Pet Shop is a verified business, it'll have the call button. And then it'll also have a message button. And I could have a live chat with a live agent at Sam's Pet Shop. Okay.
Right. So isn't it just calling the phone number of the business?
It's amazing.
I don't know.
It's an unprecedented way of interacting with businesses by actually talking to them.
Well,
I know.
So wait a minute. Is the live chat... My understanding is the live chat is just chat. And it's not like verbal. It's just text. It's almost like texting, but it's just messaging. That's my understanding. That's what I infer out of chat. Am I missing something? Yeah. No, that's what it is. Because Artem Rozakovsky from Android Police, he was the one that I think spotted this. And I don't know. I'll put the link to this. Actually, it's linked to in the article, but I'll put it in the doc just so that you have it, Burke. But if you go down to the second tweet in that thread, if you get there, it's fine if you don't, but it shows the interface and it has a little chat button. And then apparently he was getting in touch with a tire specialist and it pulls up a messaging page and says, thanks for contacting the tire specialist. What can I help you with today? So yep, click that. There you go. That one. Yeah, so that's the message that it pulls up after you hit the chat.
Oh, interesting. So the
it's not a
live
video
chat is just this automated way of basically, I can't think of the term right now because I'm so tired, but the automated way of basically...
it's just messaging. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's messaging.
Figuring out... But who is messaging? Is it the assistant?
I think you're actually chatting with the business. Well, okay, so let's see here. It says,
but I mean, is this any different? Is this any different than a Facebook page with chat with businesses, which exists? Right?
I don't know. Maybe it's more punctual because it's like an actual message being sent to and from. It does say in this screenshot automated greeting. So that leads me to believe I go to the tire shop, and it gives me the option to chat. I hit chat. I get the automated greeting, which is, hey, what can I help you with? I send it. That message is sent to someone on their team that gets a ping that says, oh, there's somebody that messaged us with a question. We should get back to them. That must be how it works. I mean, is that different than a Facebook group? I haven't been on Facebook in a few years now. I don't know how tied into Facebook.
I imagine it's some direct. I don't know. This is a very interesting business wars or whatever the heck is going on here, and I'm very curious if this is AI, where a business owner can go in and answer a couple questions so that the assistant can basically answer how you would.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if it's that. God, my hunch is that it's not. That would be interesting though. Yeah, my hunch is that it's some live person.
Just, if you're working at a tire shop, you're probably underneath the car.
By.
Yeah.
but that's the thing is I don't think this. I honestly go back saying I don't think this is much different than what Facebook offers businesses in terms of using Messenger for live chat. It's great and it's nice to be tied to the assistant, but it's still just it's more. I mean, now the death by messaging is going from personal to professional in terms of with businesses where there's 9 million different ways to approach businesses, and who knows if they're getting these messages.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, when you mentioned Facebook, my mind didn't go to Messenger, but I think that's exactly what this is. It's like a different way of messengering. Yeah, that's the analog.
Yeah,
for sure. That makes sense. So there you go. If you're on the beta track and potentially coming soon to your actual phone dialer app, you might see that as well. Neato.
All right. Neato indeed. All right. So moving on to some more fun app news. Just in time for Material U, though, as we look behind to Material Design, submissions are now open to Google's Material Design Awards for 2021. This is the 7th year running. I can't believe we've had Material Design for 7 years.
Yeah, I can't either.
Feels just like yesterday we were celebrating. So they're specifically looking for apps that, quote unquote, deliver more dynamic personal experiences through motion, large screen design experiences, and expressive implementations of dark theme. So you've got till October 1st, 2021 is the deadline to submit your favorite apps for Material Design, and the winner will be announced in December. And hopefully we remember or catch it when they are announced and talk about it on a show in December. But no, it's always interesting to see the apps that do win the Material Design Awards, because there are some really interesting design executions and approaches that come out of it, and the specificity on dark theme I found really to be interesting, because it just shows how much of a sea change implementing dark theme and that context, and using your phone in the dark versus during the day, and how that affects app design. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
I really do like dark theme, and not from like a trendy perspective. Maybe
it's better on the eyes.
It's just better on the eyes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I actually really, I think that's a trend that has been a good one for smartphone design, and also for battery and all that kind of stuff. Last year's winners, by the way, just because why not? Mooi.com for material theming, MOOOI.com. Okay, never heard of that. Material motion winner was Epsi. What is Epsi? I have no idea. I've never
We did not cover this, by the way.
Yeah. And dark theme winner was Kayak, and I know Kayak, the travel brand. So there you go. And they have, so did they? Okay, I was going to say the year before that they didn't have a dark theme. The year before that the groups were theming, innovation, universality, and experience. So they must change that every couple of years. So. Because dark theme wasn't really a thing until last year, or maybe a little bit before that. Yeah. So that makes sense. Cool. We'll try to remember to follow up on that later this year in December, around Christmas time, if that doesn't feel very far away. All right, up next, we've got a couple of your emails to read. Let's do it. Let's read some emails. AAA@twit.tv, 347-SHOW-AAA. If you want to leave us a voicemail. Flo, you've got the first one.
I've got the first one. Yeah. All right. This one comes in from Rebecca, and I think it's really a quite nice sort of Father's Day-ish, post-Father's Day email. This past weekend, I was spending the day with my father. He is the one who introduced me to AAA, and I think he's happy that he has someone he can talk Android and tech with. My dad is the kind of man to buy things just because. This weekend, he asked me if I wanted a random tablet that he has laying around because he already has 2 others, and apparently a third on the way. Why does he need 3 tablets? Your guess is as good as mine. I say sure and bring it home, not thinking of anything. Then I get a Walmart notification. Did I somehow transfer the Walmart app onto this tablet? And that's when I realized I was holding in my hand the infamous Walmart tablet that I listened to you all talk about on the show. I never thought I'd see one in person, but here we are. So far, the tablet runs pretty smoothly, but I'm mostly using it to stream and play mindless games on. Just had to share. Thanks, Rebecca, for writing in. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing more about these unknown devices because Walmart is not stopping making them. So
I feel like this email should have been the email of the week.
Yeah, I just put that in Slack.
It was really nice.
I actually meant for this email to be the email of the week.
Wait. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna retroactively give this. Burke, I hope you're ready. Rebecca, congratulations. You are the email of the week.
Some weeks we just like to start with the email of the week. That's why we did that. We did that totally on purpose.
And so, and also, so no one in the other emails for the rest of the show get too nervous. Jason, we're just going to randomly mix up the next couple of emails. So we'll mix up the whole thing so you don't know what it might be. And I think you should go next.
Oh, okay. All right. You know what? Yeah. I have an idea what we're going to do. Check this out. Check this out.
I like it. I know what you're doing. I know
Check
what
this
you're doing.
out. All right. Yep. Up next, it's an email from Howard. Howard, you are our email of the week.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Howard, congratulations. It is truly an honor that you have been awarded the email of the week. We don't just hand these out.
No,
we are very selective.
You really have to make the cut.
I just want everybody to know.
Rebecca, Howard, you were both sitting in rarefied air. You are co-email of the week winners. This is so exciting. So let's hear what Howard has to say, Jason.
All right. The one and only.
It does say on the doc, by the way.
Howard.
It does say email of the week. So this is real. This is legit.
This is real. It's in there now. Says, I am currently using a 4A5G. One of the things that I miss from my 2XL is the hardware activation of Assistant, the squeeze feature. With Beta 2, I can now double tap or use the power button to access Assistant. I like this, as when I say, hey, G, one of my other devices is intended to answer. And if I want the phone to reply, this is easier than the diagonal swipe. By the way, Howard, I totally agree with that. I do think that, I don't use the summoning of Assistant on my phone as much when I'm at home because I just figure a device is going to pick it up when I use my voice. But there are times when I definitely want my phone to be the thing, and that's when I use the intentional swipe or whatever. So that's a really good point. Howard continues, for the wallet and home controls, I like them in the quick settings. I unlock the phone with my fingerprint. I like it on the back. In the same motion, I pull the quick settings down with my finger on the swiping while swiping down on the fingerprint sensor, and have easy access to both the wallet and the home controls. With the power button, if I wanted the home controls, I had to go to the bottom of that screen and access those. Using the fingerprint sensor, these are more quickly accessed than the power button ever was. Sometimes change is good when accepted. I feel like that last thing was like a barb, like, I've accepted them. Have you? And you know what? I think this is just indicative of the fact that we all use our phones very differently. And yeah, I'm happy that it works better for you. The more I live with them up there, the more I'm kind of annoyed by them, to be honest. But it works for you, and that's why you are the email of the week. Congratulations. You should be very proud, Howard.
But let me tell you, it doesn't stop there.
Really?
Because guess what?
What?
Our next email is from Dan and Jason.
What?
I hope you're sitting down.
No.
Because Dan, I got to tell you, I got this just in. Dan, congratulations, you are the email of the week.
What?
This is unprecedented.
Congratulations, Dan.
I hope everyone realizes that we have no control over this. We are just fed this information from the All About Android machine. This is unprecedented that the All About Android hive brain would decide that 3 emails are the email of the week this week.
I can't even believe it.
It's too much. Flow has passed out. It's more than we can handle. So, all right. So Dan has to say, he says, first, let me agree with Jason, and they should put the home controls back with the power button. Currently is not the convenience that it was before, and that's in reference to Android 12 versus Android 11. Dan goes on to further say, I've been a dedicated Google/Pixel user since the Hall of Fame Nexus 5. Respect.
Yes.
I've run beta operating systems since I could first register to do so with no discernible problems until Android 12. I'm currently using the Pixel 4 XL. Again, like Jason, I like a big phone. And I installed Android Beta 12.1. My first observation was that the location services did not work properly on some apps. Notably, Tim Hortons, a Canadian coffee donut chain. Yes, Dan, we are well aware of Tim Hortons, by the way. You do not need to explain Timbits to us. But anyway, so most notably, Tim Hortons and Pebble Bee, a tile-like lost key location service. So location was kind of important for that one. The next problem was that my phone would not charge over 80%, but this only lasted a day or so. Then after I updated to Beta 2, I really started having major battery problems. At one point, I could literally watch the battery remaining percentage drop as I was using the phone.
That's no good.
That's never good. At one point, the phone could not charge fast enough and power down, a first for me. My only recourse was a factory reset. So needless to say, it has not been a pleasant experience so far, but I hold out hope. I may even install the beta again. And Dan, I think part of the reason why the gods made you an email of the week was that even despite all those problems, you still are optimistic about installing a beta again, and that's why you, sir, are the email of the week. So.
Oh, boy. Congratulations to you, Dan. Congratulations, Howard. And congratulations to Rebecca, the first email of the week of the day.
So much applause. So much applause.
You three, you're in good company. And just for everyone else to know, it's not going to always be like this. This isn't every week, all right? This is the special week where that happened. Don't expect this again. Until the next time we mess up.
Sorry, you are all not getting it.
Well, one of you will next week, and one of you will the week after. That's just how it rolls. All right, we've reached the end of this episode of All About Android. It's been a lot of fun. We turned a low news week into a yo news week. Yeah. All right, Flo, what do you want to plug?
Oh boy. I'm going to go ahead and plug two websites. The first one is flowrights.tech, and that will take you to my Gizmodo author page, and you can see everything that I have written since I started working there. And also this week, actually today, I had a Chromebook review go up. The Acer Chromebook Spin 713. That review is up at gizmodo.com. So if you're interested in a Chromebook that looks like a business PC, that's the review you should go read. So,
excellent. Flo is writing so many things and so much stuff over at Gizmodo. Stuff and things, that is her beat. Gizmodo.com.
That's true. And Tamagotchi.
And Tamagotchi.
Stuff and things.
Stuff and things. Things and stuff. What about you, Ron? What kind of stuff and things are you up to?
You can go to Twitter or Instagram. You can follow me at RonXO. Or you can go in the Google Play Store and look for an app called Scorebit, which is a pinball score tracking app that me and my friends at our company Scorebit have created. I've been talking about it the past couple of weeks how we're working on a big release. And it's funny because I truly am living the app development kind of nightmare / heaven that you can live in, because we all agreed as a system-wide kind of philosophy, we're going to iterate often, ship often. We're going to do small iterative changes to the app and things like that. But we found ourselves in the nature of working on 3 or 4 major projects that have now all coalesced into this enormous new app update, which is going to change a lot of things dramatically. And we're sitting there we're doing bug fixing. And earlier today, I was testing and reporting bugs and on the Android version and stuff like that. And we're like, oh man, what happened to just keeping the build small and having the app updates not be a major deal? So I'm learning the hard way, that's for sure. But we're close. We're that we're about to, the latest app is going to go out to our external testers, and we'll get some user feedback and then hope to roll it out in the next week or two. And I will let everyone know when that's live. But go to scorebit.io. You can see all the fun stuff there about pinball. And thanks to everybody who's downloaded the app so far. It's so much fun trying to figure this stuff out, making it up as we go. So
admit it, Ron, you're working on your big Material U update, aren't you?
Sadly, we're not. We're not quite that level of sophistication yet, because the problem is that we shipped on both platforms at the same time. So we developed in React. So I pushed for as many Material-esque touches as you can have, but we're doing it so that we have one code base that works on both platforms. And so when we have millions of users and large budgets, and then we'll focus and do I'll do the true Material U experience someday. So
yes. Yeah. All right. We'll be waiting for that. And everybody check it out. Scorebit.io right now. Big thanks to Burke for, I have felt for you, Burke, this entire time. You have been a warrior battling the TriCaster this entire episode.
It really has.
Thank you.
He's exhausted.
Victor's going to have to be a warrior, too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Victor, thank you, Victor, for all of your work on the back end to make everything. I mean, the reality is sometimes the TriCaster just goes kaput and we have a black screen, and I'm sorry, but sometimes that's just the way it is. So if you're watching the video version and that happened, we're still here, and hopefully you understand. It's okay. It just happens. But thanks to Burke for keeping up with it. Thanks to Victor on the back end for editing and posting the show, and also telling us that we had him laughing. That put a smile on my face. Let's see here. As for me, go to twit.tv/break for Tech Break. This is kind of a new feed. It's basically taking the Twit bits that we were doing, the little pull-out moments from different shows, and combining it with an ability for the hosts at Twit to have a channel to release like spur-of-the-moment stuff into. So, for example, yesterday Facebook released a couple of new features for iOS, all audio-related features, and it got my mind kind of going. And so, I wanted to pick up my phone. I had 3 minutes worth of thoughts on this news, so I recorded it. We put it out to Tech Break, and it's part of the feed. So little things like that. I'm probably going to do a Tech Break next week after the Samsung event, stuff like that. So go to twit.tv/break. And that'll take you right to the Tech Break page. You'll get some bits. You'll also get some of those moments that we hosts decide to put into the feed with thoughts about kind of current events. Or if I get a product, I might unbox it, that sort of stuff. So check it out. Also, twit.tv/clubtwit. Of course, ad-free subscription tier of the show. All of our shows with no ads. You get exclusive Twit Plus podcast feed with lots of extra content, and then a members-only Discord channel or Discord access. $7 per month. Twit.tv/clubtwit. Check it out. It is a lot of fun. But that is it for this week's episode of All About Android. Thank you so much for watching and listening each and every week. Go to twit.tv/AAA to find all of our information. Subscribe to the show. And if you do that, that means that there will be no reason that we won't see you next time on All About Android. See you next week. Bye, everybody.
So long.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Ant Pruitt, and I want to tell you about my show, Hands on Photography, here on Twit TV. Each and every week, Thursday that is, I like to sit down and share with you the best tips and tricks that are going to help make you a better photographer. And it's not always about Photoshop. It's not always about just having the biggest and baddest and bestest camera. It can be the simplest of things, like leave your eye open when you're looking through the viewfinder. All of these simple tips can really help step your photography game up. So subscribe to the show today. That's twit.tv/hop. And I look forward to talking to you soon.